Hello and welcome to another eCom Ops podcast. Today I have Jan with me from Lemonero. And Jan, great to have you here. Great to be on the show today.
Thanks for having me here. My pleasure.
Lemonero is a landing platform for e-commerce and omnichannel powered by AI and big data technology. This sounds huge, really huge. Tell me a bit more about yourself. How did you get into e-commerce?
Yeah, first of all, it's huge. I think so. Yes, I get in e-commerce. Yeah, I had experience. My first experience with e-commerce was like 12 years back when I founded my first company. I founded like digital agency, which helped e-commerce businesses to grow and managing them, the marketing campaigns and so on. So it was the first like touch with e-commerce, not like the e-commerce owner, but the agency helped the e-commerce players. After 4 years, I founded a couple of online stores. So finally I was the owner of the online store of the eShop, and that was a really amazing journey. With my co-founders, we founded like 6 online stores. 3 of them successfully bankrupted, and 3 of them were successful. We sell like home decor, Christmas stuff, and so on in 6 countries in Europe. So there was like
Wow.
very important experience for us, especially for like the future career and founding Lemonero, because I think without that experience, we were not able to found these fintech platforms and analytics platforms for e-commerce. Because thanks to that experience before, we were able to know what kind of problems e-commerce owners needs to solve. So it was my deep touch experience with e-commerce, and that was this. It was quite a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh, and 6 web shops. That's quite some work, actually. Which software did you use, by the way, when you had your web shops? What's your stack?
You mean the products or like the technologies?
Technologies, yeah.
Yeah, I think imagine that it was like, I don't know, 8-9 years back. So we are based in Czech Republic. So we used the local SaaS platforms. So like Shopify like companies here in Czech Republic.
Okay.
But, yeah, there was a time that I think there was a year that changed a lot in the e-commerce platforms area, because previously a lot of e-shops, they developed their own e-shops, but they develop e-shops by themselves. So they need to spend a lot of money for developing the e-shop. At that time, we finally see, okay, there's a SaaS platforms that are able to give us the power to use it as a software as a service solution. So yeah, we use some local solutions. Plus, we try to use as much as possible third-party services for communication, emailing, social media management, and so on and so on. And one thing we missed a lot was the data analytics platform that helped us to integrate all data in one place, something like plug-and-play solution. And basically, that was the reason why we founded afterwards the Monkey Data, which was the embedded and a plug-and-play analytics for e-commerce merchants in SMBs.
Okay, got it. On the LinkedIn page for Lemonero, you say you changed the way e-shops are financed. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think more than 80% of merchants in the SMBs area, and e-commerce merchants in the SMBs area, they have a problem with access to working and growth capital. It means the capital they help them to, then they need for buying the inventory, for investing into marketing and managing the cash flow. And why? And the problem is that two types of problem. First one is, if they go to the bank will say, okay, you're not eligible to get a funding because you are too short history, you're seasonal, so you are too risky for us. Because banks are not able to validate these businesses in the right way, very deeply. So they have old school scoring models. They are more fit to enterprise businesses or to retail and consumers. Yeah. So the SME sector is like they have a problem with finance in that sector because of data and the way how they're validating these businesses. So it's the first thing. So young businesses, seasonal businesses, which is I think a lot of e-commerce businesses in that time, have a problem with access to working capital because of that. Second problem, even if they're eligible to get a funding from the bank, it's too slow, too manual. They have to go physically to the bank. They have to sign the papers. It takes the time. So second huge problem is the time. And these 2 problems, when we saw in the market, we decided to change it. And we founded Lemonero, which has like 2 greatest feature. First one is we have AI-driven scoring model, and we work with a different data, like the e-commerce transactions data from the PSP, data from the social media, And thanks to this, we are able to validate the business much better. And so we can bring the capital to much more businesses and much younger and seasonal businesses because we understand the business much better. And especially thanks to our experience with Monkey Data before, we had with Monkey Data before. So we know what to see in the data. So we're checking a lot of data points. We check very deeply inventory management. So we can see, okay, what kind of products are the most popular, which one not. We know the categories. We understand, okay, which category now is trendy, which not, and so on. So thanks to the data-driven scoring model with AI prediction features, we are able to validate these businesses better and bring more money into more businesses. And also we solved the second problem, which was the access to working capital in terms of the timing. So on our platform, in Lemonero, it takes only 10 minutes for the first click to money transfer. It's only 10 minutes. So you have money on a bank account in 15 minutes. You don't have to go anywhere. It's fully online. So
Wow.
This is it. And this is how it works. And this is why we are saying, okay, we are changing the industry and disrupting the industry of e-commerce financing now in the European market.
That's really, really interesting. So, and how many countries can you serve at the moment?
Currently, we serve 3 markets: Czech Republic, Slovakia, and now we opened Netherlands this month. But we closed quite large seed round of 5 months back, and now we're fully focused on expansion. So next year we want to open Germany and Austria, and also
awesome.
next step is going to be the France and Spain. So these 4 countries, we see there's a huge opportunity right over there because the e-commerce markets are so huge, and we are the only one platform or the strongest platform for which can serve the long tail of SMBs, because this is the most important thing. We are able to fund more than 80% of SMEs market, which is really important. So the long tail, including micro and small businesses, this is the target we have in the countries I mentioned.
Very interesting. I mean, there are some competitors that I've seen in the US that are doing something similar, maybe not the same, but because they're more and more into the marketing approach on this side. How did you get to how did you get here in Europe to partners helping you with the money? Or is everything handled via your platform, or do you just recommend something to the bank? So how is this actually working as a customer?
Yeah, a very good question. No, in this case, we act as a bank, let's say. So we are the lender. So
Cool.
We serve everything, including, we checking the financial health. We are able to say, hey, you're able to get a financing because we know it's safe for you. Because a lot of businesses, they have no idea about like a financial planning or like cash flow management. So it's really important that our system is able to say, hey, once we are able to give you money, you could be safe because we know what could happen in the future. So it's data-driven kind of stuff. But we also providing the lending, so we offer the funding. So this is it. So we bear the risk, and we are the lender. And that was basically a really important thing once we founded the business to have a cooperation with the bank, because you need a lot of money that you need to bring to the market. Not only like the standard VC financing in the startup area, which is necessary for product development, people, and operations, but we also need a large amount of money for lending. So yeah, so that's how it works. And thanks to our cooperation with Societe Generale, that is possible. So we are very happy for that.
That's really a great story. I mean, you founded 6 web shops before. Some got bankrupt,
Yeah.
some got then you got the Monkey Data, which was analytics, and there you learned a lot of things towards analytics, and now you have this really great tool to get e-commerce companies funded. What are they typically doing with the money? What is the most thing? Are they buying goods? Are they making marketing? What are the companies doing?
Exactly. I think using it for the free things. 90% I would say it's an inventory, so buying the stocks, products, and this is it, because this is when you when you have an online store. I think this is the this is the thing that consumed the lot of money from your budget, I think. So first of all, that's the stuff. Second thing, marketing, absolutely. So the PPC campaigns and all the price comparisons, credits for price comparisons, tools, and so on and so on. And last but not least is a cash flow. So sometimes you need to money for a couple of weeks because you're waiting once your logistic companies or marketplaces will send you money back and so on and so on. So these cash flow stuff. So these three things, the inventory, marketing, and the cash flow, these three things are the most important for funding.
Mm-hmm.
And important to say that we offer short-term financing. So it means financing for, let's say, 18 months, 1.5 years. Because this is the gap, this is a huge gap that we see on the market. Well, once you need a long-term financing for a couple of years, you need a lot of money for, let's say, for some long-term investments. So you need to buy something or to build something like a warehouse or something like that. We are not the right type of platform for that. We are focused especially for short-term financing. So let's say money you need to you will get back in 12 or 18 months. So this is especially that's the reason why these three areas. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, it's mostly about stock and marketing, and for marketing especially, I mean, you maybe even have it shorter because you have some campaigns running.
Exactly.
Do you also serve digital or SaaS products with this, or need it to be physical products?
In terms of the SaaS and digital businesses, not yet. It's the vertical. It's interesting for us, but we want to stay focused purely first on the niche market, which is the e-commerce. But now we are launching also a new product, which is called cash advance or revenue-based financing. And we do it with a close cooperation with the PSPs, like payment gateways or point of sale systems. So thanks to this, we can serve also not only e-commerce businesses, but also mortar brick stores, which is, let's say, the offline or retail, and the combination, which are called omni-channel. So e-shop and the retail businesses. So now we can serve like a whole segments, online and offline businesses in the SMBs area. So, but the merchants, not the SaaS businesses like typical merchants, because we see that in that area there is one of the biggest. That market is really underfinanced, and there is a lot of huge demand of the working capital financing. That's the first thing. And back to the product, as I mentioned, that we provide a revenue-based financing or cash advance. It means that we offer financing for, as I mentioned, let's say 18 months, like amount of money. But important to say how the repayments are taken. So it means that we, in this model, as I mentioned, we cooperate with PSPs. So we took let's say 10% of every single transactions of daily sales come through the payment gateway or point of sale system, and we're using it for the repayment of the loan, which is really awesome for the merchants because it's a no-brainer for them, and they're mirroring the cash flow, which is, I think, that is the most important thing. So once they're seasonal or the Christmas season is usually the strongest part of the year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So we are copying and mirroring the cash flow using it for repayments. And so that's the most popular product. And this is a product where we are offering a lot in the European markets.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's cool. Now, of course, when I connect my web store or my payment providers or what else, you are analyzing that. So
right.
What are the most important metrics that e-commerce companies should be aware of?
I think it's two questions in one. I think first part of the question, what kind of data we need to be able to say you're eligible to get a funding or not. So we, as I mentioned before, we closely cooperate with e-commerce platforms, PSPs, and marketplaces. So the merchant, they can easily connect their e-shop or the profile of the marketplace or the PSP account, and we work with the transactions data and transactions history from that account. So once you authorize the data, we download it and we can check all the important data points. We work with thousands of data points. So very briefly, we need to know like the most important KPIs like revenue, margins, future, like a seasonality, category. We need to, but we also very deeply check the inventory kind of stuff and trying to find the right dots in the data to see the whole picture, how the business is going. But this is everything what's happening on our side. For the merchant side, they don't have to do anything. You just need to connect in 2 clicks. In 1 minute, they have a result. So in these 2 clicks in 1 minute, all that what I mentioned, all the the scoring model and process happened, and we get the results. So this is this is the first part of the answer. And second thing, because I spend a lot of time having my own e-commerce businesses, spend time in data analytics area, and now we are also helping companies. We're trying to help them with the cash flow and the financial management. So I think from that perspective, what is really important, I always say, to have a right data, to have updated data for that I can check on daily basis to make the right decisions. So I think it's not a rocket science. You don't need a lot of metrics, really deep dive metrics. You need like top 10 metrics, like, okay, I need to predict my cash flow. I need to predict my revenue. I need to know margins of the products. I need to know that I'm really cost effective. I'm not spending the money for something that doesn't make sense, and so on. So let's select like top 10 to 20 metrics, which you can find on the webs, millions of advisors and from that area on the internet right now. But what is really important to have the right data, updated data, and to check it on daily basis, because that's only one way how to be, I think, in touch with your business. And thanks to this, you are able to make right decisions. And last but not least, advice: don't be afraid to make decisions. So once you see, okay, there is a problem in my business, I cannot wait that somebody else will solve it. So I have it. I know that from my own career. It sometimes is really hard because hey, that product people loved it for last 2 years. Yeah. Why? So I have to wait. Maybe they changed. No, let's do it. Don't be afraid. It's always better than to wait too long.
Fully agree to that. So making decisions can really make a change, and just waiting and looking if it might get better or might get worse or what else. Making a decision really is something that can help you. Now, as a serial entrepreneur founding many companies and web stores, is there anything that you have identified in your career? What is most important lesson you've learned through that time, or what would you recommend to other founders?
I would say that I'm trying to learn all the time. So let's say, don't be afraid to ask another entrepreneurs and experienced people and ask them for help or for advice. That is a very important lesson. I'm still trying to improve that skill, because sometimes we have our ego say, hey, you have to do it by yourself. You cannot show that you are weak. No, don't be afraid and ask the other people and for some advice or help. I think this is one of the most important things I learned in my career. I made a lot of mistakes because I were afraid that it's so stupid question I cannot ask somebody else. But during my career, I realized that no, everyone had the same problem, trying to solve the same situation. And now where some other entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs comes to me and say, hey, Jan, what do you think about the presentation? I don't know what I should put it in the slide, or how to get an investor, how to do this. Like very basic questions, but super important questions. So I would say this is the thing that really is really important. And then don't be afraid to make a mistake. I think it's like there's a startup mantra, or like entrepreneurship mantra: fail, validate, and fail faster. Is something that really works. And third advice is like cash is the king, which is really closely connected with the financing. That is important to say. You always need to be aware to have a cash. Even if you have a like online store, you need to be in touch with your cash flow, because that's the thing what will carry your business. Maybe it's important to realize it doesn't matter. It could happen that some season or some year you have like you've lost, but once you have cash, you can change something and you can have a profit next year. Once you don't have a cash on bank account, you're dead. So that's it.
That's good recommendations, actually. Don't be shy to ask. That's absolutely true. I mean, when every entrepreneur has the same mindset, or at least nearly every entrepreneur, and everyone is happy to help the other one, and that's a good thing about entrepreneurs. Actually, they really also give the advice. Yeah, and of course, failing is not that bad. You really learn a lot when you're failing. You can improve that, and finally, at the end, you will not fail anymore. That's good.
Absolutely.
How important are automations for you to get integrations, automations up and running?
Absolutely crucial thing for us in terms of the Lemonero, because we're building a company as a scalable solution that must be able to very easily connect, use, and scale across the countries in Europe. So automatization for us is, I would say, number one thing in the company. So we always try to find a way how to automatize all the process. We have like a couple of, I would say, steps and sentences that areas that must be automatized. First one is data analytics, the scoring model to the prediction, and also including the KYC, KYB, and on underwriting process. So every single step in the customer journey, from the first click to money transfer, we try to automatize and try to create a platform, as I mentioned, that's scalable and for scalable and easy to customize in every single market. Because in our area, you have to know that it's another like easy SaaS analytics platform that you can deploy to any merchants globally, because we comply with the regulation of the market, because we're providing financial services and so on and so on. So for us, it's important. We know that we have to customize something like in terms of the regulation data sources, but everything else must be fully automatized to be able to successful in business.
Cool. Thank you. Good info. Last question for the day. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Who told me the most about e-commerce in my career? I think that I'm not sure the most, but really, really important person in the e-commerce career was Adam. I think he was also guest of your show and here. So Adam, I think that was a really important person in my career in terms of the like e-commerce and also the startups in the very beginning, and he helped me a lot with the devices and the network. So thank you very much, Adam. I think it's important to say, yeah, that was a very important person.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you and to better understand what a serial entrepreneur is doing with all the learnings he did. So he's building something like a bank.
Yeah, that's our goal, to build digital banking platform.
Yeah, digital banking. It's really great. And I think there is a lot of opportunity for e-commerce store owners, for brick and mortar stores to really get financed the right way. You see it every day. You go to the bank, you need something, and there is so much process needed. And they are good. I mean, banks are great. If you have enough money, banks are always great. Yeah. But the thing is, they often really do not understand the business, especially online. Yeah. I mean, there is a season coming up. It's Black Friday season soon. It's Christmas season. So you need a lot of money upfront. And you have it back in a few months, but you need to put the products in stock, because having the products there is easier for you to get them shipped than drop shipping. Yeah, you not even can drop ship on Amazon. So
absolutely,
that's the key, to have the money, as you said, the cash at that time you need it, and to really have everything there and send it and make some revenue. So the concept is great, and I wish you much luck. Enter Europe and to get the things grown.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.